don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical, cold, 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 cold. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical, cold, 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 cold. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Hello and welcome to Bellow Field for a ranked battle between two top 10 teams in the country, the Tufts University Jumbos and the Wesleyan Cardinals. This should be quite the battle between two NESCAC teams that really have their hopes set on not only a deep a deep NCAA run, but a national championship. This Wesleyan team comes in on a 2-game skid, a 9-8 loss to Amherst and a 10-9 loss to the number 1 ranked Middleweight Panthers. We're going to take a look at what happened out in Middletown on Wednesday night. The Cardinals went to triple overtime against Amherst and ended up losing 9-8 in a heartbreaking loss against the number 12 team in the country, the Mammoths. Amherst scored a tying goal to force overtime with 1 second left in the fourth quarter. Alongside that, Wesleyan had women up in overtime 2 and 2 women up in the first overtime, but could not find the goal to win the game. Sam DeLeo put up 2 goals and 2 assists, and Ellie Precinct put up 2 goals as well. My name is Jake Flossie. I'm joined today by Riley Daniel. Riley, what happened out in Williamstown for the Jumbos on Wednesday night?
Well, on Wednesday night in Williamstown, the Jumbos finally learned what it means to play a competitive game because for the first time all year, they weren't able to push that game to running clock. They got out to a really good start, went up 6-2 in that first quarter, and then just kind of struggled over the course of the middle of the game, getting outscored 4-1, which allowed Williams to stay in that game. They were able to go on a 3-1 run towards the beginning of that fourth quarter to push the lead to 4. Williams got 2 late goals, but the Jumbos were able to hold on for their first competitive win of the year.
Yeah, and the Jumbos have often taken those leads and then extended them to get to those running clocks. It's the first game they haven't been a running clock all year, and certainly closer game than the Jumbos are used to. They'll be hoping to switch that up today, but they're facing a team that really doesn't like to give up goals. This Wesleyan team is very strong on defense. 6.1 goals allowed per game, which puts them second in the NESCAC. They also are fierce in the defense. 80% clear rate for their opponents, alongside 12.3 turnovers caused per game. They lead the conference in that. A specific player we're going to be watching for that as well is Madeline Johnson, who leads the conference in turnovers forced. Also leads the team in fouls, though. So she'll be fierce, but could cause some fouls as well. But looking at this Jumbo side, they're not afraid to score goals. They can put up those numbers.
No, they absolutely can. I mean, Jake, your graphic said the best offense is a good defense. Well, I also heard the best defense is a good offense, and the Jumbos have it coming from everyone. You look at that offensive attack. You got Allie Zorn leading the way with 28 goals, Margie Carden with 25. Then you got her 2 wingers in Caroline Conahan and Ella Esperance with 20 and 19 respectively. Then you got the 2 grad student midfielders, Emma Joyce and Madeline Lady, each with 16. And I could list about a half dozen other names with 8 or more goals, but we're running out of time here, Jake, so this is just going to be one of those games where you don't know what's going to happen with two teams of this quality on the field.
And really, as you mentioned, we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to try our best to try to figure it out. What is your prediction for this game today?
Gotta put me on the spot like that? All right. This is a Jumbo's team playing a big game. This senior class knows what it takes to beat this Wesleyan team. I'm going to give it to them. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Give me Jumbo's winning 10-7.
I also think the Jumbos are going to pull this one out. We saw last week they faced another very, very strong defense in the Colby Mules, and were able to pull it out. So I think the Jumbos take this one 11-7. I'm going to go up you by 1.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, Jake.
Should certainly be an entertaining one as we get ready for the starting lineup. Today is a special day for the women's lacrosse program. On October 17th, 2021, the physical world lost the greatest connector of people we knew. Maddie Scooter Nickpon made her way to heaven, where her superpower of connecting people continues to amaze us all beyond measure. Today, Tufts Lacrosse is celebrating the life, love, and kindness of Maddie Nickpon. Her hard work and dedication to the game of lacrosse, her teammates, coaches, and friends continues to inspire everyone who is lucky enough to be in her light. We hope that through supporting Maddie's MN2 Together Foundation during Alumni Weekend for years to come, her light will continue to shine. In a letter to her future self that Maddie wrote as a part of a team activity, which describes her commitment to and love for her team, she said, "Keep in mind how good it feels to have your hard work pay off, when your times get faster and your arms feel stronger. That is why you put the extra work in. That feeling of internal pride and surge of adrenaline that you get is what makes it all worth it. Focus on being a good and genuine teammate. That is why they love you. Scooter, you are missed more than words do justice. We love you. Keep dancing." Here today are Maddie's parents, Kathy and Chris.
Definitely a big game mentally for this Jumbos team. And a nice touch from Coach Courtney Shute. Going to give Caroline Conahan, the senior teammate of Maddie Nickpon, her number 2 jersey to wear here today in place of the 28.
In the memory of Maddie Nickpon. Thank you. After a brief moment of silence in memory of Maddie Nickpon, we're going to move into the starting lineups for this Jumbo side and this Cardinals side. For the Cardinals, they had a pretty consistent lineup across the season. We've seen Green, DeLeo, Precinct, and Dibble as the kind of consistent attackers. We've seen Green often more of a midfielder, but still very much involved in the attack. The Jumbos, it's also been a pretty consistent lineup. They've had Elsa Schutt come back from an injury or a game off. We're not entirely sure the reasoning, but I imagine we'll see that consistent lineup of Schutt, Delaney, and Joyce in the middle. Lesbrance, Conahan, Zorn, and Carden up top. And
yeah, the one real change in that Jumbo lineup the whole year has been the return of Catherine Fernandopole, the All-American, into that defensive core. And I think that's something that really gives this Jumbo team a lot more freedom because she's able to just take away so much space defensively. And when she gets the ball, the transition just goes so smooth.
She is an expert at clearing, and this Jumbo's team is very good at clearing across the board. They consistently do very strong in their clears, which will be vital today against a Wesleyan team that causes a lot of turnovers, likes to play aggressive on those clears. The Jumbos clearing at a 92% clear rate, which has been very strong across the season. They didn't miss a clear in that game against Williams. So they're certainly a team that can break down defense, but this Wesleyan ride we know is going to be fierce.
Definitely, and I think for the Jumbos, the clear is the key to this game because if you can get past that initial Wesleyan ride, I question whether or not Wesleyan's going to be able to shut down the Jumbos in a settled set offense with just the diversity of talent this Jumbo's team has. They can hit you in so many different ways. They can go 1v1. They can move the ball around at ridiculous speeds with those skip passes, or they can run those pick plays that we see with the midfielders up top. It's really just an almost infinite-headed monster.
And I will give you the other key to this game, in my opinion, which seems to always be the key to these women's lacrosse games, are those draws. And Tufts has one of the best draw control specialists in the country. Second most draw controls in the NESCAC, Jenna Gibbons. 68 draw controls on this season. She has been phenomenal. She really can dominate games when she starts rolling. That Colby game we saw last week, she had 10 straight draw controls, and she has just been so strong. But she's facing a strong draw specialist in her own right of Kira Brown, who has 41 draw controls in the season, and that battle is going to be one we're going to be watching all throughout the day.
Yeah, both teams very good on the draw circle. Wesleyan 54% on draws for the year. The Jumbos 64.1%. That is the highest mark in a single season in program history. But ironically, that is not even best in the NESCAC because the Wesleyan the Middlebury Panthers continue to just put up obscene numbers, but it's getting closer by the day. That margin was about 5% last week. It's now down to 1% with a good day here today. Jenna Gibbons could put the Jumbos top the NESCAC leaderboard come that matchup next weekend.
We are going to step aside for a minute for the national anthem. We'll be back in a sec. And we are back here on Bellow Fields. We get ready for the opening draw today. Riley, what are some more things we're going to be looking at in this game?
I think looking at this game, I wonder what happens if it's close late. We've seen this Jumbos team only play one competitive game all season. That was Wednesday night in Williamstown. And last year when this game was close down the stretch, they kind of collapsed. A 6-0 in favor of Wesleyan fourth quarter allowed Wesleyan to take a 4-goal deficit and turn it into a 2-goal win. On the other hand, this Wesleyan team does have 3 one-goal losses this year and has blowout wins in all their wins. So they really haven't shown they have what it takes to win a close game. So if it's close late, it feels like we're just throwing darts at a dartboard to see what sticks.
Certainly does. This Jumbo side, you mentioned last year falling to Wesleyan out in Middletown. They also lost to Wesleyan in a much rougher result in the NESCAC playoffs, falling, I believe, 17-5. And
they lost that one 15-7.
15-7, sorry, mixed my 5 and 7 up there. But still, not a strong result, especially because they gave up 5 goals to 0 in that first quarter. So both games they lost to Wesleyan last year, they had one really bad quarter that sort of defined the game. So the Jumbos need to be consistent across the game. As I mentioned, again, in that Williams game, they had a really good quarter and then sort of fell off a little bit. So they need to be consistent across the whole game and assert their dominance in this game.
And that really was true for every Jumbo loss last year. It could be traced back to one quarter, one bad quarter. And so I think that is the goal for this Jumbo team. You avoid the one bad quarter and trust that if you play without a bad quarter, you are the more talented team on this field here today. If you keep it from collapsing in a single moment, in the long run, the math says you should win the game.
And this is a Wesleyan team that's missing some of those weapons they had in those games. In that first regular season match, Laura Bain scored 5 goals. And in the playoff game, Olivia Lai scored 6 goals. Neither of those Cardinals have returned this year. One a grad student, one a senior. So the Jumbos will be happy to not see those names on the lineup sheet.
Olivia Lai had been a problem for the Jumbos team, had a hat trick in 3 consecutive matchups against the Jumbos in her career. So I think they'll be very happy not to see number 7 against them today.
Certainly, as we get ready for the draw, no surprises, we're seeing that is Brown and Gibbons in the draw circle. And we are underway as Gibbons wins the draw. Oh, nope, popped out of her stick, but Shutt will pick it up and look to clear.
Yeah, good job with the second effort there from Elsa Shutt. not taking anything for granted early on.
Another player who has a lot of experience in the draw circle for the Jumbos. Working on the back is Conahan. Carden. Cuts in.
It's a surprising sight Wednesday night to see Margie Carden off the score sheet.
Shut at the top. Back to Conahan. Les runs to the X. Jumbo is content to cycle around at the moment. Conahan. Now Carden. Carden working on her defender. Hops below, shuts. And it's going to be a step over there, it looks like, from the Jumbos.
I think they actually got an over and back, but I'm not sure. The referees
Slightly
already
confusing.
Well, it's a bellow April day, so you wouldn't expect a NESCAC crew to not have at least 5 debates.
They are certainly like to contest things, but Wesleyan will now look clear. Immediately a dropped ball.
And this
As
is
the
a more
Jumbos
similar
ride is
Jumbo red we
fierce.
saw against Colby than the one we saw earlier in the regular season.
Certainly is. Madura will look to clear. She finds Green. Circling to the top. Tagney, immediate impact from the first team All-American last year.
Yeah, a nice finish there from Tagney, but it all comes back to the risk taken by Catherine Fernandopoli. She jumped for that ball on the clear attempt, nearly picked it off. The Jumbos would have had big-time numbers going the other way. Instead, Wesleyan has 6-on-5 in the settled set, and they're able to take advantage.
Yeah, and Tagney, a player who hasn't been able to play in every game so far this season. She was crucial to that Wesleyan team last year, but has only played 7, started 4 this year. So good for the Cardinals to see her having immediate impact in this game. Be her 8th goal of the season. Back to the draw circle as the Jumbos were able to take the first one, but unable to convert off of that. If they want to rebound quickly, they'll have to get the draw here. Gibbons versus Brown. We have false start on the Cardinals as the Jumbos will look to attack quickly. They slow it down. Zorn now. Delaney gets it shut. Carden looks to take on her player. Finds Zorn to shut. Shows the shot. Conahan again takes a shot. No shooting space call, though.
Kind of surprised not to see that one called. Looked like a pretty clear cut and dry shooting space opportunity.
Certainly, this Jumbo's team loves to get those free position calls. Carden now. Tipped by Johnson. And it's going to keep going with Joyce now. Zorn with space. And she gets the shooting space there.
Yeah, and it comes back to that hustle play from Elsa Schutt on the restraining line. Does a great job tiptoeing the line, getting the ball back in play. 2 Cardinals caught out, and they had to surrender the free position.
Zorn lethal from these free positions this season. Ali Zorn versus Izzy Weintraub. And Ali Zorn scores! Goes low through the legs of Weintraub. What a finish from Ali Zorn.
I've seen a lot from Ali Zorn over the years. Don't know if I've seen that one, though. Immediately drops the stick almost to ground level and goes with the submarine.
Yeah, and that is a bold strategy, especially against first team All-NESCAC, second team All-American goalkeeper Izzy Weintraub, who is a very scary presence in the net. But that was cheeky almost, going low, going for the shot through the legs of Weintraub.
But you know what it is? It's something Izzy Weintraub definitely hasn't seen on film before.
Certainly. Zorn, a player with a lot of confidence coming in, leading the Jumbos in both goals and points on the season. 3rd in the NESCAC in points per game. And Gibbons and Brown return to the draw circle. Jumbos have won the last 2 draws, but last one off of a foul on the Cardinals. Gibbons pops it out, and it's 1. Not quite. It is 1 there by Tagney.
And already we're seeing just so much more effort on the draw control than has really been seen at any point so far this year on Bello. A first, a second, almost a third effort on every draw.
Jumbo's making it clear, very challenging for the Cardinals, but in the end, Diomede is able to get it over. As the Cardinals will slow down into their style set offense. Precinct now. Finds Leo. Now Horst at the top.
Jumbo seemed to have collapsed into his zone here.
Precinct at the X. Goes up. And the shot from Cummings goes wide, but the Cardinals will retain it. Horst trying. Back to Cummings. Cummings again. Heavy defense of the Jumbos, and she throws it long. Dibble in a tough spot here. Ball popped up. The Cardinals are able to return it with a heavy pressure from the Jumbos. Shot is taken, and it goes to DeBuren. Strong defense there from the Jumbos.
That is the textbook example of how to run a D3 zone. You stay wide, force the skip pass, and the second they get that penetrating pass inside, you collapse the zone, force them back out.
Gibbons, a lot of pressure on her clear. The Jumbo's second midfield comes in. Fernanda Poli finds Hammond, who has space, and the Jumbos break the aggressive ride from the Cardinals.
Grace Hammond been a bit of a revelation the last week, has 3 goals in her last 2 games.
Certainly been a player who's had a lot of impact off the bench. Leslie now, back to Hammond. Tries to get the shooting space, but doesn't get it. Lesperance continues to rotate from the X. Hammond. Conahan. Lesperance tries to cut in, but no, finds Leslie at the top. A lot of pressure on her. And her pass is intercepted there by Molly Simon.
Yeah, it didn't work out, but I like the idea there from Leslie. She saw that Conahan was unmarked GLE. If that pass gets through, it's going to work, and the Jumbos are going to be in, but good job from the Cardinals, just keeping those sticks high, preventing that skip pass.
Weintraub clearing a bit herself. Very aggressive here from the Wesleyan goalie with both Carden and Conahan on her. But she does find her player. Bold there from Izzy Weintraub. Cummings now on it. Cycles around DeLeo and now Precinct. Horse. Back out to DeLeo. And dropped by DeLeo. Fernanda Poli is right there, but she manages to retain it. Cardinals working a lot more on this left side. Precinct tries to slide it under, but DeBuren is there. And the Jumbos win the race as Fernanda Poli will look to clear.
Something that Catherine Fernanda Poli just provides is that electric foot speed. Sometimes when you just need a little bit more, she can give it to you.
High pressure from the Cardinals, but they're able to break out. Here's Donlin. She will try to clear herself and do it successfully. Well worked from Nicola Donlin. Conhan now on the right. Jumbo's looking to attack quickly. Carden working on Green. And Green forces the turnover. Ball still bouncing around. And Delaney, as she so often does, gets it and finds Lesperance with space. Excellent capitalization there from Madeline Delaney.
Yeah, it was actually Skylar Lloyd who was able to pick that one up. But she really has been playing like Madeline Delaney the last couple of weeks. Has really stepped up in the two-way game. Great job there on the ride. Immediately turns defense into offense, and the Jumbos have the lead.
Yeah, Skylar Lloyd making excellent work of that play and capitalizing on the chaos caused by the aggressive defense from Dylan Green. Not often can you force Margie Carden into a turnover, and she almost did. But the Jumbos are able to capitalize well off of it, and Lesperance, as she often does, finds herself in space, finds herself in an opportunity, and coolly converts it.
Courtney Shute with lots of praise for her second midfield unit as they come off.
And this unit, it has been so strong and gives a lot of hope for Jumbos in the future. 2 sophomores and a first year. As it starts to rain here on Bellow Field, it's going to be Gibbons versus Brown yet again.
Well, it wouldn't be
Right to shut.
on Bello if it didn't rain, Jake.
Wish it would, but it certainly feels like it. Summers now attempting to clear on her own. Got the speed to do it. She will still Summers. And she'll toss it off to Conahan.
Nicholas Summers running down the right wing at Bello. Are we in the right season, Jake?
Certainly something she's quite used to. Carden cuts on her player. Shut coming in. Tries to draw the shooting space. Or just will go through every player, but a great save by Weintraub. And Conahan will make it to get the ball. No, she will not. That was actually Vienne who got it. As the Cardinals look to clear here with Cervini. And they break the Jumbos' ride. Both teams still settling into their settled set here.
Interesting there. Wesleyan had an opportunity to potentially look to go in transition, but they seem almost more confident in the settled set than they do in their transition offense.
Wesleyan continues to cycle around. DeLeo here. Pass to GLE. Throws it to... That is now Riley on the ball. Rotates around back to DeLeo. Fernanda Poli guarding. Tries to find the pass, but Jumbo's defense stifles it. Shut will to clear, getting checked. And turnover forced here. Excellent work from Sam DeLeo.
Sam DeLeo has really been a force both ways for this Cardinals team. Second on the team in points with 24, and also can do things like that defensively.
She has 13 forced turnovers on the season coming into this game, and just added another right there. Again, Cardinals happy to get back into that settled set, taking it slow. We did see them get forced by the shot clock to take an ill-advised shot earlier in the game, so they'll have to work a little bit faster than that. Cummings now. Back to DeLeo. The top coming in. That was Tagny yet again, and she will put it in the bottom corner. Tagny, 2 goals already to start off this game.
And I think if you're the Jumbos, that is a moment of concern. You do not want to let the All-American get going in this game. She's the sort of player who could carry this Wesleyan team through some trouble.
And that was an effective play by Tagny, able to cut in, beat her player, cut out, and get a great shot to that bottom corner. The Markham experience and talented player there. Jumbos are 3-1 in the draws so far. We'll hope to get another one here as Brown comes back in it for the draw.
Draws have been something of an interesting factor today.
Brown's actually stepping off just to cut you off there, but Tagny will go to the draw.
Jenna Gibbons normally uses her height as such an advantage on the draw, but when she's against Brown, against Tagny, doesn't have that height advantage she's used to, so she has to find other ways to win the draw.
Yeah, Tagny only 2 inches shorter than Gibbons, standing at 5'10". Gibbons pops it up to herself, almost gets it, but Delaney is there. She'll go fast. Running right at the goal, and shoots it wide, but Conahan will get there first. Still Conahan. Shut now. Emma Joyce. Grad student finds Margie Carden. Jumbo's continuing to cycle. Carden now. And she draws a shooting space.
Chance for Margie Carden to get on the scoreboard for the first time this week.
Not a phrase you normally say. Pretty much always on the scoreboard, Margie Carden.
Well, I have said it, but normally on games when weeks where there's only one game.
Fair enough. Carden against Weintraub. And a great save from Weintraub. Carden going top right, but Weintraub's there. The Jumbos retain possession and look to attack again. Carden wants a second attempt. Tries to find Delaney with space in the middle, but a little bit too dangerous. Makes a smart choice to continue to recycle. Lesperance to Joyce. Shut now. 30 seconds for the Jumbos. Continuing to just rotate around. But Conahan cuts in and slides it bottom corner. Conahan's having a great week this week.
She is. She's having a great year, Jake. But the bench, where we're right in front of, they noticed what Caroline Conahan saw, which was Wesleyan was in rotation there. There was a gap on the weak side. Conahan saw it, was able to roll the crease, get around the last defender on the slide, and was point blank on Izzy Weintraub. And Izzy Weintraub's good, but she's not going to stop that one.
I don't think many keepers would. The Jumbos very patient in that offensive possession, waiting till they got the opportunity and then capitalizing excellently on it. Conahan coming off 4 goals in that win against Williams and gets herself on the score sheet already today. It's Gibbons against Tagney again. Gibbons pops it out.
Delaney got held, but won the draw anyway.
Yeah, that Gibbons-Delaney partnership in the draw is so powerful. Delaney has 42 of her own draw controls coming into this game. And she'll find Shut. Conahan, the goal scorer, makes a similar run, but this time chooses to continue to find Zorn. Shut tries to draw the shooting space, but isn't there. Makes the right choice to continue to possess. Carden and Conahan continually doing that rotation on the right side. Delaney with space in the middle, but Weintraub's there.
Great idea there from the Bows. Joyce saw Delaney with the stick up in the middle of the zone. She got the look, but Izzy Weintraub saw that one pretty clearly and was in a good spot to save it.
Weintraub again looking to clear herself, facing no pressure. They want her to try to make a pass, and she does find it. Vienne gets Priesing. Dibble out to Green.
And it is amazing, Jake, the difference in speed when the Jumbos have the ball versus when the Cardinals have the ball.
Both teams patient, but the Jumbos definitely move a lot faster on their offense. The ball bouncing around in the middle, but recovered from Dibble. Cardinals look to reset. Napoli putting a lot of pressure there on Warriors.
Down to 25 on the shot clock.
Back to goal was Cummings there. Warriors again. And intercepted by Joyce. Jumbos look to go fast. Joyce has a lot of pace as she sprints up, solo clearing. And the Jumbos have a 5-on-5. Conahan makes a run for it, but finds Lesperance to the X instead.
Lesperance missed it. She had a wide open Margie Carden at the top of the arc.
Hammond recovers. Carden now facing this Wesleyan zone. Lesperance now. Back to Conahan. In a one.
To the head there.
Zorn now. Jumbo's offense continuing to rotate around, make it hard for this Wesleyan team. Zorn beats her player. Tries to find Carden in the middle, but intercepted by Bridget Horst. But Fernanda Poli puts enormous pressure on DeLeo, but DeLeo able to withstand it. But now Lechley also putting pressure on her.
And that's just great offense meeting great defense. Fernanda Poli gets the stick out, knocks the ball away. But no give up there from Sam DeLeo. Able to run to the sideline, beat Fernanda Poli for pace, and outrun Lechley as well, as Wesleyan can look to hold for the final shot of this first quarter.
Yeah, Wesleyan team we've seen be very patient on their offense. Would be shocked if they didn't run this clock down to as low as possible. Riley with a lot of pressure on her from Gibbons, but she beats her and takes the shot. And Fernanda Poli will be the first to the wall. Jumbo's 30 seconds for another attack here. This is certainly time for this Jumbo's offense.
It absolutely is, but at the same time, you don't want to risk giving up a goal in transition. You want to take what Wesleyan will give you.
Gibbons clearing and does it herself. 13 seconds on the clock for the Jumbos. Carden, the player who you want to have the ball. Wesleyan defense playing high pressure. Tries to find, and it does not work out. Les Bronze at the X. No time left. And the Jumbos will not be able to get a goal going into the first quarter. As we end this first quarter, 3-2 Jumbos in a very close matchup so far between two very strong NESCAC teams.
Yeah, I think that first quarter, about what I expected from these two teams. Just the frenetic pace of not the offense, because the offense-defense was almost like it was set at 0.9 speed. But every time a ball hit the turf, there are 4 or 5 girls fighting for it. Sticks down, sticks go up, the ball goes flying 2 or 3 different directions, and eventually it just comes down to effort right now.
And this is two teams that very often do win those effort battles, that play such high intensity, really aggressive defense, and happy to really force those 50-50 balls, force those really intense moments. We're going to step aside real quick. We'll be back in about a minute for the second quarter. Welcome back for this second quarter of NESCAC Lacrosse between the Tufts Jumbos and the Wesleyan Cardinals. Jumbos up 3-2 after the first quarter, and what has really been a frenetic, frantic, and very contested first start to this game.
Jake, I think that is definitely a good definition, but I feel like the way we've seen these two teams play over the years, you're going to have to hit the thesaurus at halftime, because I think you're going to need more synonyms for frenetic come the second half.
Yeah, I will be doing that at halftime just so we can provide the best entertainment value for you all at home. As Brown is back in the draw circle, we saw Tangney there for a while in this second portion of the first quarter, but it's back to Brown against Gibbons. Gibbons, the ever-present draw specialist for the Jumbos.
All right, it's time for me to make my bold recommendation, Jake, which is if I was Courtney Shute, I would think about the next time we get the offense with the ball in a settled set, bringing Kate Mastrobano on the field, because this is a very tall Wesleyan defense, and if you have someone who can see over it, make those skip passes, it opens up so many more lanes.
As Gibbons wins the draw to Delaney, we'll be certainly seeing if that does come true, Riley, but you are not Courtney Shute, so she has the ultimate understanding of this team. But you've certainly done a lot of these games as well, so have a good understanding of the team as well. They rotate around with Carden. Carden cutting in. Zorn now.
Wesleyan switching back to the zone. They were in woman-to-woman towards the end of that first quarter.
Les Bronze to the X. Finds Zorn on the GLE. Jumbo's content to cycle around right now. Continually going around counterclockwise. Les Bronze tries to run in. Her pass intercepted, but caught by Joyce. Tries to get the shooting space call.
It's going to be a charge.
Charge. Going a little bit too aggressive there as the grad student.
And that's a really bad decision for Margie Carden, who's going to get a green card, I believe.
Don't see a card being shown. She is lucky to get away with that one.
Very lucky. Stop the restart there. I mean, kind of the textbook definition of a green card.
Weintraub again taking the ball herself. And Jumbo's just making it really hard for her to find an easy pass.
Yeah, they're in a 10-woman ride right now, so every Jumbo match 1v1 against a Cardinal, they're going to force Weintraub to do something herself.
If this pass is missed, then the Jumbos have an open net to run at. So really important Weintraub finds the right pass here.
Going to kill half the shot clock in this process.
Excellent ride from the Jumbos. She'll finally try to find a player, and she does. That is Vienne able to clear it here. But as you mentioned, 45 seconds down the shot clock, half the clock gone. As the Cardinals continue to rotate around. Dibble tries to run in and draw a shooting space, Colin Joyce, but doesn't get it. DeLeo. Tangney. Both goals scored by her today. Great pass. She's got her player in the middle, and Wari would get a charge on her.
Yeah, I think they got a ward there. Used her offhand to get the defender off her stick. Can't do that in women's lacrosse.
I know she cannot, as the Jumbos clear quickly. Shut now. Will they try to hit the Cardinals in transition? Answer is no. They settle into their settled set. Lesperance finds Joyce.
Switch things up a little bit here. Lesperance on the wing. Zorn now on the X.
And she finds almost Lesperance in the middle, but it falls out back to Delaney at the top. Conahan, arguably the most dangerous Jumbo in this first portion. Carden now. Lesperance back where she normally settles in near that X. Delaney now. Great pass to Conahan. And there's her goal. Second one of the day for Conahan.
Well, there was a big burden placed on Caroline Conahan when Courtney Shute gave her the number 2 jersey today here on Scooter's game. And the senior is delivering.
Certainly is. She has looked not only in scoring these goals, but she has been a lot of this offense this Jumbos have had. She's been causing those problems. She's been making those runs in, making it really challenging on this Wesleyan defense, and gets her second very much deserved goal. But we also give the props. Delaney, excellent pass, finding Conahan with space, able to turn and get the shot. And great offensive possession from the Jumbos as they take a 2-goal lead in what we expect to be a pretty low-scoring match. So these small leads will be crucial.
First multi-goal lead of the game.
The Cardinals will need to see some more production from their other offensive players outside of Tangney, as it's back to Brown versus Gibbons in the draw. Gibbons only lost 1 draw so far today. And that continues as she wins it herself.
Gibbons starting to do what she did last week. Started off 50-50 on the draw circle, and now is really starting to assert her dominance.
Zorn now to Joyce. Carden looks to run in and draws a shooting space. Carden with her second shooting space attempt here. Will she be able to convert this time?
Better angle here on this free position. At least I thought there was. Looks like they're moving her wide now.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot closer in, but it's going to be a tough angle for Carden. Will she look to pass is the question. And she tries to go in, and she scores it. Margie Carden gets it over Weintraub, able to take a little bit longer free position there, but converts it nonetheless.
Yeah, for most players, that would be a situation where you can only pass, but with Margie Carden, so good at using her body as a shield, gets herself point blank on Izzy Weintraub, fakes low, goes high, and the Jumbos have a 3-goal lead.
Carden gets her 223rd career goal as the Cardinals will call a timeout from Coach Kim Williams.
And I think you have to if you're Kim Williams. You were really in this game, and you still are, but you were 50-50 in this game through the entirety of the first quarter. But the start of the second quarter, The Jumbo's just on the front foot right away, and I think it goes back to the draw circle.
It certainly does, as the Jumbos have only lost one draw so far today. And this is a Jumbo side you can't let pull away. We saw last week against Colby, 8-0 run to start the second half. That was a close game. Suddenly it's not. And if this turns into that type of run, this Wesleyan team cannot get back in this game. They're not a high-scoring team. They're a team that plays those close games. They play those tight matchups, and they need this game to be close. So if they let the Jumbos continue to run the score up, it gets a lot harder for them to win this one. But if they can get a goal or two back here, win this draw, get a goal, win the next draw, suddenly this game is very close.
Definitely, and I think there's another factor, and one we haven't really addressed at all, and that is, it seems every time I look over at the other sideline, that crowd continues to grow here. And if you're Wesleyan, the longer you let the Jumbos dominate this game, the more the crowd gets invested, the more the crowd gets behind this Jumbos team, and it just becomes a repeating cycle that you can't escape.
Gotta give some props to the fans coming out here. And this cold and rainy day out here in Medford, Massachusetts. Love to see a huge crowd. Also, good representation from the Cardinals as well. A pretty sizable away section. So both schools showing up with pride in this very important matchup today.
It is. It has been a matchup that has met in the NESCAC tournament 3 of the last 4 years. So this, in all likelihood, might not be the last matchup between these two teams this year.
Notable change now, Alex Riley in the draw circle against Jenna Gibbons. It's 20 versus 20. Riley, her first time in the circle. Will she have more success than her teammates?
Riley with 7 draw controls on the season. Not a typical draw taker for the Cardinals.
Certainly not, but when you're facing Gibbons, you have to try everything. Gibbons pops it straight up. And Delaney recovers the draw. Jumbo's yet again winning the draw, as they have had so many more possessions on the offense just because of these draws.
Madeline Delaney up to 5 draw controls already on the day.
Carden comes in. Les runs to the X, tries to rotate it all the way back. It's going to go past the restraining line. But great defense by Cromwell, and it'll pop out to Gibbons, who wins the ground ball.
Kim Johnson upset. She thought that was a foul involved, but the Jumbo's doing a really good job using that restraining line almost as a backboard, keeping the ball in the attacking half.
Yeah, Cromwell in the battle there against Dibble ends up forcing it out toward Gibbons, who ends up saving the ball. Jumbos have 35. And Zorn wins the shooting space.
Yeah, free position here for Ali Zorn. And she, as we saw at her first free position, is pretty good at these.
Not an amazing angle for her, but she is 9 for 15 on the season. Make that 10 for 16 after her previous goal. Will she go low again? We'll see. She goes high this time, and it's Weintraub in the helmet, but it rebounds out to the Jumbos, who are able to convert it.
Jake, I think that play, in a nutshell, was a microcosm of how this second quarter is going for the Wesleyan Cardinals.
That's just brutal. Yeah, the helmet hit ends up falling. It looks like that was to Shut. Unclear, but it was Shut. So Shut probably hasn't scored many goals like that in her career, bouncing off the helmet of the keeper right to her. And Weintraub obviously reeling from being hit in the face, unable to save it. So Shut able to capitalize there. Jumbo is now 6-2. Very important second quarter here. 5 minutes in the second quarter. Jumbo's 3-0. As it remains Riley versus Gibbons. Gibbons won the first one with help from Madeline Delaney, but is the second string midfield for the Jumbos in now. Hammond and Lloyd will be the ones to help, but Gibbons will do it herself. Heavy ride, though, from the Cardinals. 3 players in the vicinity of Gibbons, but she will clear it herself. Still Gibbons. Heavy pressure, but she's able to find Lloyd. Pass to Hammond, gets deflected.
That got another face. And
Yeah, they're going to stop it. Yeah, I think that's the right call there. We will step aside for a second here. We'll be back. when play resumes. Glad to see everyone seems to be doing fine. Johnson has the goggles back on and appears just fine. Jumbos will possess the ball at the top with Netta Leshley.
It's a really good sight to see.
Yeah, Johnson, a very dangerous defender who causes so many turnovers and a player that can be a thorn in this Jumbos offense. Carden sends it to Zorn, back to Carden. Conahan finds Hammond. Lloyd has some space, but quickly smothered. Carden now. Lesbronce's pass missed by Leshley, but is going to be a foul there.
Hold there on Wesleyan.
That's a brutal call to get on the Cardinals, as the Jumbos will have a free position.
We'll see where they spot this.
It's going to be Leshley taking it. Same angle Zorn had.
Elsa Shutt right back. Or excuse me, not Elsa Shutt. Grace Hammond where Shutt was.
She goes high and goes over. Looks like, and the Cardinals will win that race barely. It looked like Conahan was there almost the exact same time, but.
And then a horrible turnover.
You cannot give that away. Carden with space, 5-on-3 for the Jumbos. And a great save by Weintraub, sends it over.
Nah, Jake. I know it was so fast. That one actually hit the crossbar there and deflected back. Carden an inch from a second.
Jumbo's able to continue to repossess. Zorn now finds Carden. Lesperance at the X, spins, tries to go middle to Hammond. Excellent save by Weintraub. Lloyd recovers the ball, though. Finds Zorn. No shooting space.
She's
hit in the head.
That's going to be a card. And she decides the message for that is a hype up the bench.
Certainly is. It's going to be a yellow card there on Molly Simon.
I'm wondering if this one's locked in.
Doesn't seem like it'll be locked in, but Zorn has a tight angle for from the free position here. But they are women up for the next 2 minutes if they don't score.
If I'm Zorn, I don't even look to score here. I bring it back out. I reset in our woman up offense, and I look to go not a straight-on angle, not worth the risk of potentially shooting it wide, letting Wesleyan win a race and look to clear and kill off a lot of this time.
She fakes the pass, then tries to shoot and goes back, as the Jumbos will do your advice, Riley, and stick to this woman up offense.
Been pretty good on the women up this year. 47%.
Hammond now. A little bit far for Zorn, and that's a bad turnover for the Jumbos to get up there. But they're going to play a high ride, and Leshley, has she won it? Zorn wins it. It's going to be a foul on the Cardinals. Jumbos ball. Oh,
And
after the play there, Brown might get a yellow card for that. Yeah, Brown's going to go in. Going to be a green card on Kira Brown, and that 2 women up Jumbo situation here. Wesleyan also familiar with the 2 women up situation, but they were unable to convert that in the first overtime against Amherst.
Jumbo's going to make a substitution here, bring their starting midfield unit on. Go with the top-tier EMO unit.
Very much wanting to capitalize on the situation that Wesleyan has so kindly given them. Zorn will start with the ball on the restart. Joyce immediately runs at the Cardinals defense. Another drop ball, but shut with no pressure on her, able to recover it cleanly. Lesbronce to Zorn. Joyce now. Here's Carden. She looks to run at her player. Cutting in is Margie Carden, but she'll send it back out to Lesbronce. Zorn now with space. Gets the shooting space.
Yeah, free position there, I think, for the hit to the back. think this one might be center on.
It looks like it should be. It's going to be slightly off to the left, but this is a position you expect Ali Zorn to capitalize on. Zorn versus Weintraub. 1 for 2 in the day is Zorn. She runs in and scores. Ali Zorn gets her second of the day.
30 now on the year, 101 for the career for the junior from Bedford, Mass. And the Jumbos just keep on rolling in this second quarter.
Yeah, Zorn coolly converting into that top right. Excellent finish from Zorn. Took her time there. Ran at Weintraub. Didn't take the immediate shot, but was able to hold off the defense and find the goal. As the Jumbos do convert on their 2-woman up position, Wesleyan will get both players back on.
Wesleyan in a world of hurt right now, down 7-2.
Certainly are. And what they need to do here, they can't let Gibbons win another draw. It's Tangy in now. Riley having no success in her brief stint as the draw specialist. They can't find an answer for Gibbons. Will Tangy be the solution? Tangy gets the force on it, and it will be... Nope. Gibbons gets it. Great pressure from Shutt to knock it out of Horse stick as the Jumbos win yet another draw.
Gibbons gets shoved. Whistle goes.
Stay Jumbo's ball here. Shutt sends it to Zorn.
And I mean, if you're Wesleyan right now,
Wow. Kira Weintraub stepping out of her net to intercept the pass there from Lesbrance to Zorn and able to clear it out. Sometimes you have to take it in your own hands if you're Weintraub.
You do, and I think Izzy Weintraub trying to single-handedly keep this Wesleyan team in the game. She has 5 saves on the day. And the stat I think that's worth taking as Wesleyan gets into their settled set, they have not recorded a shot attempt in this second quarter.
It's not a stat you want to see if you're a Cardinals fan, and they just really haven't had many offensive opportunities. Jumbos get the ball, they score. They win the draw, they get the ball, they score. So not many chances for the Cardinals to even record a shot. It's DeLeo now. Cardinals really need this possession to work out. Horst cutting in, beats her players and draws a shooting space.
Yeah.
Well worked from Bridget Horst. Horst had a goal and an assist against Amherst on Wednesday. And she goes in, goes low, but DeBuren wins it and is able to corral it.
What? I'm
not quite sure what happened there as the Cardinals got a goal.
Courtney Shute seems just as shocked as we are. She thought a whistle had blown.
Looking down at a stat for a moment, and suddenly the Cardinals have scored. And they will take that.
Well, you know what, Jake? I do have this lovely little tool called our JumboCast stream on YouTube where I can watch it back.
It looks like DeBuren was trying to pass the ball out.
It got knocked out of her stick in the crease and then put in the back of the net. I mean, I don't know how that's a legal goal, but they're going to give it to the Cardinals. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
They'll take what they can get there as they get their first goal of the quarter. Still a 4-goal deficit. And it will be Gibbons versus Tangy again. Tangy very close to winning the draw for the Cardinals last time, but the Jumbo is still able to take it out. Again, flicks out toward the Jumbo's goal, but it will be Delaney getting there first. Off of Shutt's foot, it looked like. Carden coming in fast. Finds Delaney. Doesn't quite work out, but Zorn will collect.
Wesley's
Joy
out.
to Lesperance. The Cardinals recover fast enough. Conahan now. Carter gets to Joyce. She'll try to run in. She's got an opportunity here. Chooses to find Lesperance. Ball on the ground, but Lesperance picks it up. Zorn tries to draw the shooting space call, but doesn't get it. Carden now. And she'll get it this time. I think it might be from the 15-meter, but nope, 8-meter. Carden on the right side from the free position.
Carden looking for her second of the day.
In goes Carden. Quickly pressured. And it looks like she'll draw another foul.
Wondering if a card's coming here or not.
Referee reaches into the pocket and doesn't take anything out.
That is my absolute least favorite thing. They
You
do
know,
it so often.
It's a cold day. Sometimes you got to put your hands in your pockets. Can't blame them too much.
This isn't a magic show. I want to know what the referees are doing.
Margie Carden straight on here. Great save by Weintraub. And the Cardinals will recover it.
All-out ride from the Jumbos now.
And immediately they get results as Joyce picks up the missed pass. Jumbos will get a fresh 90.
And that kind of has been the story of the day. I'm pretty sure the leader in successful clears for this Wesleyan team is Izzy Weintraub.
Certainly it feels like it. Zorn finds Delaney with space, but the Cardinals respond quick enough. Conahan now. Back to Lesbrunts at the X. Finds Delaney again with space in the middle, but smothered fast enough. Joyce's stick is hit, and that's going to be too much force there from Green.
Quick restart.
Zorn again trying to draw a shooting space call, but ends up getting a shot off. Weintraub gets there. Picked up by Carden. And
He gets called for a crease violation, doing the exact same thing the Cardinals did to get a goal.
And Weintraub will look to clear herself again. And she does it well. Cardinals now running up with Maeve Olsen. Stoller, actually, who found Diomede.
3 minutes to go here in the first half. Jumbo's looking
Dibble will slow it down here.
to really just keep this dominant first half and really this dominant second quarter that they're up 4-1 in.
Has been a statement second quarter from the Jumbos, but the Cardinals, if they could get 1 or 2 in these next few minutes, would certainly change the complexion of this game. The shot doesn't work out, but Riley now really trying to get the shooting space call, but doesn't get it.
Well, the problem with trying to get a shooting space call there is she had a point-blank look on DeBuren. There was no one in her way. She just didn't shoot the ball.
Yeah, not sure about the decision-making there from Riley. Good defense from the Jumbos, forcing the Cardinals to continue to cycle around. Cutting in now is Warius. Finds Riley. Forced out by Summers. Tries to cut in was DeLeo, but DeBuren will win the race. Not something you see every day.
It is not.
Summers now with 2 players on her on the very tight ride by the Cardinals.
And I think that's so good from Courtney Shute.
Timeout from Shoot to save Summers from what was a very intense ride. Shows really the quality, caliber of a coach that Shoot is. Not only does she come up with these incredible tactics, but she has the timeouts at the exact right moment.
Yeah, it's something that you see from both Jumbo coaches, from Courtney Shute and from Kate Denolfo. They have that innate lacrosse IQ where they just know when the play is about to break down and they need to blow the whistle, call timeout, and just reset things.
Yeah. I'm curious. The Jumbos haven't really gone to their bench on their attack women so far. We haven't seen Sophia Claps come out. We haven't seen Master Bono come out. 2 players who we do often see, but this Jumbos attack has been working quite well without their strong bench options.
Yeah, I'm less surprised we haven't seen Mastrobuono, even though I did suggest it, because it's often a weapon in Mastrobuono that Shute loves to use out of the halftime break, because it's just a wrinkle you can't adjust to on the fly. And so if you haven't seen it before the halftime break, it's like getting thrown a curveball in the middle of your stats exam. But I'm really surprised we haven't seen Sophia collapse, because she's been on a roll, has 4 goals in her last 2 games, and she would really be a little bit of a change of pace, has that foot speed that could really just break down this Wesleyan zone.
Clap's a player who loves to take on her player in those one-on-ones, get herself into space, and get a goal off. But Jumbo's offense certainly has certainly been doing quite well. But they're going to be moving on here, 7-3 on the game so far. Jumbo's coming out of the timeout. Summers on with the ball.
And an interesting decision from Courtney Shute, her second string midfield on the field, which I like that decision. They are a bit faster than the starting midfield. The speed from the likes of Hammond, Lloyd, and Leslie will be really helpful if, as it looks like we're seeing, Wesleyan decides to go with an all-out ride.
Certainly will, but you are missing that experience that that first team has, that are able to make those split-second decisions that can really help make or break a clear. But certainly players who have a lot of pace on them is that midfield, and they're quite young players, so good to have them getting more and more experience, especially because losing those two grad students in the midfield will be a big hurt for this Jumbo side. But because they're getting so much experience for these younger players, definitely will help them alleviate that loss.
And that is a horrible decision from Wesleyan. They got caught for a hit to the head, and they're going to go woman down.
Certainly not the play that Coach Williams would have recommended for her team, as that will be Dibble coming off. So not only is that a strong player, it's an attacker who can do a lot alongside scoring for this team. She hasn't had the year that she had last year, but has still been a force on offense, often hanging around the X area. So with her out, will make it harder for the Cardinals if they get the ball back on offense. Plus, the Jumbos will have a woman up on their attack.
Skylar Lloyd just says, "I'll do it myself."
Excellent work from Lloyd. And there's that pace you were talking about, Riley.
Jumbos will be woman up for the remainder of this half unless they were to score and negate the penalty.
Jumbo is content to rotate around as Zorn has moved up to the top of the arc. Deep pass to Conahan at the X. Hammond now dropped, but picks it back up.
She was so getting ready to draw the shooting space call.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Hammond. Leslie now. Jumbo's rotating around here to Conahan. Lloyd finds Lesbron to the back post, and she goes just far left. But the Jumbos continue to possess the ball. Lesbron's again might be a crease violation, but no.
I'm not sure
Hard to tell what they called there. Lesbron's did get in the crease, but also got knocked down by Weintraub. Looks like it's going to be a free position for Lesbron's as she regains her equipment. Pretty tight angle here for Lesbron's. Lesbron's versus Weintraub here.
Gonna go far post here.
She will choose to pass instead. Zorn, and draws a free position of her own from a better angle here. Zorn, one of the more accurate free position takers on this Jumbo side. We've seen her do well. 2 goals already from the free positions this game.
Looking for her hat trick.
Alongside drawing one off of the helmet. She goes low, and there's the hat trick for Allie Zorn. First half hat trick for the Stellar Junior.
Yeah, Allie Zorn just continuing this unreal season. She was named a preseason All-American, and she has gone out and proved that that was the correct decision. 31 goals so far on the year, and we're only on game number 11.
And Zorn's the type of player who you don't say her name that much. You don't see her maybe making those crazy runs in, but she just quietly racks up a ton of goals. Like last week in that Colby game, she didn't really have much of a presence, and then in the second half, got a hat trick.
Yeah.
This time, first half, hat trick. Jumbo's really thankful for their junior attacker who has been so strong this season. It's going to be Gibbons versus Tangney again. Tangney having a little bit more success, but Gibbons still winning these draws. Goes right to Delaney, who finds, that was Lloyd who finds Hammond. Zorn slips and drops the ball as the Cardinals get a lucky break there.
They got 10 seconds to try and salvage something.
Cardinals coming fast here with Dibble. 5 seconds to go. And ball's on the ground. Not much Cardinals can do. They don't get a shot off. Jumbo's defense holding up.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. They're going to call that at the end of the half. Look for
Looked
a
like
second.
he was going to call a free position there, but changed his mind, the referee. Going into the half, Jumbo's 8-3, a 5-1 second quarter, which really changed the outlook on this game.
Yeah, we talked about it in the open. We talked about it in the other contest. What happens if Wesleyan has a big quarter? Jumbo said, don't forget about us, with a giant second quarter to take the 5-goal lead in the break.
Yeah, we both had this game going pretty low scoring. The Cardinals have only given one double-digit game this season, which was a 10-9 loss to the number 1 ranked Middlebury Panthers. But Jumbo's already on pace to very much clear that double-digit mark, which would certainly be surprising. It's a defense of the caliber that we've seen from Wesleyan this season. With that, we will take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes for the continuation of this NESCAC battle. And welcome back here to Bellow Field in gloomy Medford, Massachusetts, as the Jumbos have a 5-goal lead over the number 6 ranked nationally Wesleyan Cardinals. And we just heard a little update from around the NESCAC, as it sounds like Bates is up on Connecticut College. Alongside that, that's 10-3 in the Middlebury-Colby game, another game that not only NESCAC fans, but really women's lacrosse fans in general will be tuning very closely to. Number 1 versus number 4. The Panthers up 8-6 in a close battle there. Finally, the Trinity Bantams are up 6-3 on the Hamilton Continentals. And in a game that's just starting out in Western Mass, it is 1-1 between the Amherst Mammoths and the Williams Eefs. And that game, that last one, will be really crucial for Wesleyan as well, as they're in that fight for that final 4th spot in the NESCAC tournament to host a first-round game. Be very important. So Cardinals fans will be keeping a close eye on that one as well, and we'll keep you updated on those games throughout the rest of this one.
I can also give you an update from Middletown, as the men's game has kicked off about 3 minutes ago, and it's already 3-0 Jumbos.
That is not a good sign for those Cardinals fans also tuning in, but this Wesleyan men's lax team is also very strong, but they're facing the reigning national champs and undefeated Tufts men's Jumbos lacrosse team. So very powerful matchup there. So we go back to the draw. We have Gibbons versus Tangney again.
I actually think that's Elsa Shut out there.
That is Shut, correct. Shut, another strong member of the draw team on this Jumbo side, and she wins it right to Madeline Delaney, who, while she's not been in the draw circle, I think may lead the game in draw controls so far. With I think that's her 6th. Carden now. Forced out. High pressure there from the Cardinals. That would be Shoemaker. No, it's Diomede. 5 and 6 look very similar on the Cardinals jerseys. They rotate around. Zorn. Shut now. And ball goes out, and it'll be Wesleyan ball.
Uncharacteristic there from the Bows.
As a little bit less pressure there on Weintraub to clear, but a lot of pressure from Joyce as she's one-on-one with the keeper. She beats her player and slots it away. Emma Joyce.
Just when you thought maybe the Cardinals were going to catch a break, it just keeps hit and record and repeat. They lose the ball. The Jumbos run again. And Easy Weintraub just continues to face shots she can't stop.
And that is not the combination of players who I expected a mistake to come from. The 2 All-Americans on this roster, Kira Tangney and Weintraub, Izzy Weintraub. Air comes between the 2 of them. Joy steps in, hits it out of the racket, of the stick of Tangney, and able to capitalize. We now see Brown returning to the draw circle. She'll try her luck against Elsa Shut. Gibbons still on the field, this time just outside of the circle, fighting with Horst.
Jumbo's 13 of 14 on the draw circle today.
And that's a number it's really hard to win a game if you're 1 for 14 in the draws. Shut pops out toward Delaney, and Delaney yet again wins the draw. And able to possess well to find Lesbrance. Carden squaring up against Horst. Still Carden. Lesbrance now. Jumbo's content to just go around the circle. Oh, Conahan there gets a slip on this wet turf, and the Cardinals catch a break.
That did not look fun for Caroline Conahan.
Vienne still in the clear. Conahan back up, ready to press. Almost intercepts the pass from Vienne to Stoller, but Stoller now.
Such a good ride from the Jumbos, just killing so much time.
Already 30 seconds off as they're forced to go back to Weintraub. She does have Cummings with plenty of space, though. as the Cardinals will finally clear 30 seconds wasted by the Jumbos. Horse now with high pressure from Gibbons, not letting her go to her right. Coming in now is Dylan Green. Slips the Bellow wet turf, having a large impact on this second half so far.
Yeah, the turf monster is claiming some victims on this April day.
Fernanda Poli with a large throw and finds Delaney perfectly. Great pass from the All-American to the other All-American. Delaney gets it to Conahan. Shut now. Here's Carden. Lesperance works it out to Carden. Jumbos continue to rotate around. Zorn almost gets Lesperance cutting in, but well cut out by the Cardinals defense, who are immediately pressured. This Jumbo's ride has been relentless.
Back to the 10-woman ride.
Weintraub again having to do it herself. She's going to keep going.
Could we see a goalie goal?
We saw one on the men's side from Cortland a little bit earlier as they did that against RPI, and quite an insane matchup. But Weintraub will send it to her teammate, but bounces around a little bit. Cardinals able to control. Sam DeLeo now. DeLeo again working on Fernanda Poli. Gets around. Finds Tangney cutting in. And Tangney gets her hat trick. 3 of 4 goals for the Cardinals have come from Kiara Tangney. This time bouncing off the ground and up off the top of the goal.
Nice finish there from Tangney, and she's really the only thing keeping this Cardinals team in this game. Got a step on Gibbons, and in an uncharacteristic moment for the Jumbo defense, no one came to help on the slide.
Yeah, and new face at the draw circle now. That is Palumbo for the Cardinals, who has not had many appearances so far this season. She will try her luck against Elsa Shutt. Really, Coach Williams throwing everything at the wall to see if she can win a draw against this Jumbo's side, who have just been dominant from the draw circle today, both Shutt and Gibbons.
Palumbo only making her 3rd appearance on the air. Hasn't played since March 17th against Endicott.
Shutt pops it up. And won by Palumbo. Coach Williams' gamble paying off, but then hit out of her stick as Gibbons wins it. Almost a moment of joy for the Cardinals, but the Jumbos yet again winning that draw in the end.
And, I mean, if you're Kim Williams, I don't even know what you do at this point.
I think you give Palumbo another shot. She almost had that.
I agree with that, but you just got to be beyond frustrated. You put the woman out there who almost won the draw, and it just deflects away once again.
Yeah, quite unlucky for the Cardinals. The Jumbos almost get a chance there to Delaney, but it goes slightly through her stick. But the Jumbos managed to repossess. Lesperance now. Shutt. Here's Conahan doing that same run we've seen her do so many times today around the back of the goal. Shutt finds Carden with some space. She spins off of Johnson, but is forced out.
Weintraub out of the net.
Weintraub did that effectively earlier, but this time it does not work. Ali Zorn gets her 4th of the day, capitalizing on the aggression from Weintraub.
Yeah, when she did it earlier in the day, it made sense. She was taking a risk, but she had a clear angle to get to the ball. That time, it just felt like she was betting it all, hoping that roulette ball would just find the right number, and it did not.
Sometimes in games where you're down by a lot, the frustration starts to seep in. And I think Weintraub there was just so frustrated with this Jumbo's effectiveness, how they've given so few mistakes up on those offensive sides. She wanted to step in and do it herself, but it gave Zorn space on the crease to slip it around.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a frustrating day for Izzy Weintraub. She's given up 10 goals That 10 is more than the number of total shots, 9, that the Cardinals have taken today.
Quite the number. As the Jumbos have tied the most goals that the Cardinals have given up all year with 10 minutes to go in this third quarter. Certainly feels like they will beat the Panthers there. Shutt pops it out, and Gibbons does not recover it. Still on the ground and picked up. The Cardinals will win their first draw control since the first quarter as Dylan Green gets it. Certainly a break that the Cardinals needed at this point in the game.
They did need that one, and they needed it really badly.
I think they needed about 5 or 6 draws ago, but they'll take it now. As the Cardinals will look to capitalize on this offensive possession that they've really rarely had in this game.
Don't think they're going to do that.
Stick to the face there as Fernando Poli goes down. Wouldn't be shocked to see a card come out.
Yeah.
It will be a yellow card. And that's the difference maker that Fernando Poli can be. She steps in, intercepts the ball, wins the turnover, draws the yellow, and the Jumbos will attack again.
And that's a thing to note. A third yellow on Wesleyan. The next yellow would be a locked-in penalty.
And when it rains, it pours here as the Cardinals just really...
I swear.
It's not pouring right now, but we hopefully will not get pouring rain, but certainly the fouls and goals pouring in for the Jumbos today. As Gibbons will successfully clear. The Jumbos near flawless on their clears so far today. Here's Leslie. Back to Zorn. They're just happy to pass it back between them. Ball drops out of Conahan's stick, but picked back up. Leslie. Hammond. Conahan will rotate it back around.
Jumbos wanted the 2v1 there, just didn't quite sense the opportunity.
Very patient offense from the Jumbos here. As Hammond sneaks it in. Great pass to find Skylar Lloyd, who gets her second of the day.
And, well, when it rains, it pours, Jake. The Jumbos just continue that efficient offense.
Excellent find from Hammond to sneak it around her marker and get her fellow sophomore in the middle, Skylar Lloyd. And Lloyd coolly slots it away.
Yeah, great finish there from Lloyd.
It'll be a timeout here called by Coach Williams of Wesleyan, as this game feels like it was close in the first quarter, but is very much slipped out of Wesleyan's control. I said 11-7 for my final score prediction. Yours has already been passed of 10-7, Riley.
I don't think
mine will work out either, as it would need to be a 3-0 run for the rest of the game for the Cardinals, with how the Jumbo's offense has been going. I don't see that happening.
I think my bigger question is, do we hit running clock?
It would be pretty remarkable. This Jumbo's team, very used to that running clock situation. Only one game this season where they didn't go to running clock, and that was on Wednesday in Williamstown. But they took the number 4 team in the country, Colby, to running clock last weekend. Wouldn't be shocked if they take the 6th team in the country now to running clock. And it really sets up this very exciting matchup late in the season against the number 1 Panthers, who the Jumbos have won these games more convincingly than the Panthers did. The Panthers were down against Wesleyan for a significant part of that game. But this game, far from over, but certainly feels like the Jumbos will emerge as the victors.
Definitely does. That goal, the first of the day for Skylar Lloyd, her 10th on the season, puts her in double figures. She becomes the 7th Jumbo to reach double figures in goals on the year.
And we talked about that in the opening, how this Jumbo team is so deep, so many players who can score goals. And Lloyd, another one to add to that list of players who just find the net when the Jumbos need them to. And so many players who are just dangerous, and no one you can kind of solo out, this is the player we need to mark. There's just so many players. Going around the NESCAC score updates, Bates 10-5 in the third against Conn College. Middlebury still 8-6 in the third against Colby out in Waterville. In Hartford, Connecticut, Trinity up 8-3 against Hamilton. And alongside that, in Middletown, the Jumbos up 4-2. Number 1 Tufts versus number 9 Wesleyan. So certainly one to watch there as well. as it will be Palumbo returning to the draw circle after a pretty good effort in the last one and then winning the second one. So she will face off against Shut. And it feels like we're past the points of the draw as being crucial to the success of either team, but the Cardinals will want to win more possessions, will get more of a chance to get themselves into this game. Shut pops it behind her, and great catch there by Diomede. And she'll draw the foul as well.
And I think a card.
It's going to be on Jenna Gibbons, looks like. We'll get the green card. And that's a good break for Wesleyan, not only winning the draw, but getting the woman up. Be 1 minute out for Gibbons.
We'll see what the Jumbos do offensively here.
Weintraub all the way out of her goal, giving herself as an option. And Cardinals still very strong ride from the Jumbos, but broken effectively by Stoller all herself.
It's big for Wesleyan. Gives them about 45 seconds to work with here on this woman up.
And the Cardinals really need to capitalize here, as this will be now Tangney, the player who's the sole real light on this Cardinals offense has been Tangney so far. Coming in, there was Precinct, but unable to get to work. Dibble. Back to Tangney.
10 left.
Precinct switches back to Dibble. Coming in. 5 seconds left on the woman up. The shot goes off of DeBuren's stick, and it's going to be a crease violation. Jumbo's ball. And the Jumbos successfully escape the woman down situation, with Shut finding Delaney as they look to attack fast. Delaney running at you, not a sight you want to see if you're the Cardinals. Delaney puts it away, bouncing off the ground, popping up.
Game, set, match for the Jumbos. They kill off the woman down and turn it into instant offense, pushing the lead to 8.
Yeah, Madeline Delaney, so often that Jumbo, both Delaney and Joyce on the transitions are so lethal. They like to run the defense. They go fast. They take the shots. Delaney has the taller height, able to get her stick up quite high, spike it down, make it very hard for Weintraub. And the Jumbo's able to not only escape the woman down, but they come out a goal up.
Wesleyan looks set to, for the first time since 2016, lose 3 consecutive games.
Yeah, and that has really been a testament to the strength of program Coach Williams has created. But when you face the number 1 team in the country, number 12 team in the country, number 2 team in the country, it's certainly a tough feat to win any of those games. Pop straight up. Ball rolling around. Palumbo using her body, but it will be Shut to pick it up. As the Jumbos win yet another draw. So far, only lost 2 on the day.
That's an unreal number.
Especially when there's been 16 of them. Or, I believe actually 18. Here's Shut. Now Lesperance. Conahan takes on her player. The Jumbos being very patient on this attack. Lesperance looks to return to her typical X position. Instead finds Shut. Drops it, but will recover it. Another drop, this time from Delaney, but she again expertly picks it back up. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Lesperance had some space. The Cardinals get there soon enough. Lesperance tries to find Cardin. She does, and Cardin will draw the shooting space call and get a free position.
Yeah, this one looks to be straight on here from Margie Cardin.
Yeah, it was an excellent find from Lesperance to find her fellow senior in the middle, and Cardin gets the free position. Cardin goes in. Goes high, but Weintraub is there.
And that's the All-American quality we were talking about at the Open. 1v1 against the Jumbos, all-time leading goal scorer, but Weintraub equal to the task.
The ball from Weintraub will be intercepted by the Jumbos as they have a 2-on-1. Lesbrance takes it herself, but sends it just wide. So they're going to call something there, though.
I think it's going to be a free position for L'Esperance.
That would be my guess as well. As the Cardinals somewhat lucky there. We haven't seen Weintraub caught out too many times. We obviously saw that Joyce goal earlier in this second half, but Lesbrance there, and the Jumbos able to shut down the clear from Weintraub. Lesbrance will get herself a free position. Not quite straight on for Lesbrance. And she tries to go low, but Weintraub is there again. And will she clear successfully this time?
That is the fundamental question. Jumbos once again in the all-out ride.
Continues to take it herself. She sends it deep. Ball on the ground. And it's going to be picked up by Dibble.
Jumbos just not giving an inch today. Everything has to be fought for by the Cardinals.
Big switch there from DeLeo. It's to Horst, who now has Cummings. Cummings trying her luck, but fails against Delaney. Now she's got Fernanda Poli on her. Forces the bad pass. Oh, there's going to be a foul there. Looks like as the Cardinals will retain possession.
Clock continuing to run here. I don't know if it should be, but
Horst coming in right into Gibbons, and she draws the charge.
Jenna Gibbons having a day to remember. Doing everything on the draw circle and stepping up defensively.
Would be shocked if Gibbons doesn't get a first-team All-NESCAC honor this year. She has been phenomenal.
I think she's going to get an All-American nod.
Oh, certainly. But it could be argued that first-team All-NESCAC may be harder than All-American this year because the NESCAC is just so strong. We saw the Massey ratings earlier today. All NESCAC teams in the top 25. Ball bouncing around here. Scooped up by the Cardinals as they force a turnover. Johnson sends it high, though.
And that play was caused by Caroline Conahan, immediately getting on the ride.
Carden cutting in. Finds Zorn. Now Hammond low pass to her, but she's able to recover it. Lesperance out to Lloyd, who finds Hammond.
Just get the feeling, Jake, this Jumbos team isn't content with 12.
Oh, definitely not. Conahan rotates it around. We've seen all season the Jumbos like to run the score up if they can. Carden looking to do that here. Bounces out of her stick and goes off the post. But the Cardinals will recover it and get it to Weintraub. Weintraub taking it herself yet again. Up to half field is Weintraub. She throws it deep. And almost recovered, but right to DeBuren. Goalkeeper to the other goalkeeper here.
And the difference, Fernanda Pole right there is an immediate option for Weintraub, or excuse me, for DeBuren.
I think it's partially testament to Fernanda Pole, but also testament to the Cardinals' ride, while still very high, not quite as intense the Jumbos has been so far.
"90 seconds on the shot clock. Don't know once again why the clock is running, but the Jumbos won't care because it's going to make sure that they get the last shot of this third quarter if they want it.
Summers working with Gibbons to clear here. And that they do. Gibbons runs through two players. Jumbos will have a minute to work with here. Lloyd runs on against Dumide there. Hammond. Back to Zorn. Lesbrance with an opportunity here. Conahan.
She had an opportunity as well, didn't take it.
Jumbo's content to run this clock down a good amount here. 30 seconds to go. Here's Hammond. Zorn spins past her marker. Back to Hammond. Takes the shot. And Conahan will be outraced by Weintraub.
Jumbo's bench incensed. I think they have a valid point that did not go out near Izzy Weintraub, but that'll be how the third quarter ends.
I think it ends pretty accurately with Weintraub being ferociously rode by the Jumbos. As another dominant quarter the Jumbos have seen here, up 12-4 going into the fourth, and this game feels pretty close to over, Riley.
It does, and I think that it really just comes back to the draw circle again. If you're Wesleyan, you've won 2 draws all day.
That's, especially in a game as high scoring as this, that's a feat that you can never win a game if you win only 2 draws.
Yeah.
There's so many less chances to score, so many less opportunities to get on the board, and just not working for them so far today. And we will step off and be back for the final quarter of lacrosse here, unless the Cardinals are able to get an impressive rally. And we are back here on Bellow Field. Riley, what's going on across the NESCAC right now?
Well, a lot of things are going on. It is a Saturday after all. We can update you on some scores. Trinity still leads Hamilton. They've pushed that lead to 10-5 with a minute left in the third quarter. Up in Waterville, that one now even at 9 apiece between the Mules and the Panthers. And in Lewiston, Maine, Bates up 12-7 in a very high-scoring game. That one's still halfway through the third quarter. And then, of course, the Battle of Western Mass, the 2 teams who didn't score at all in the midweek, decided they were going to save their offense for today. It's 5-4 Williams, 20 minutes into that game.
Certainly some impressive and very contested matchups in this NESCAC, which we've mentioned really dominant in women's lacrosse. 4 of the top 6 teams in the country are from the NESCAC. And the 1-4 matchup out in Waterville looking very close. Certainly closer than this 2-6 matchup here in Medford. It will be Palumbo returning to the draw circle and facing off against Shutt, as we've seen most of the second half. Palumbo having a little bit more success there than the rest of her Cardinal teammates. By success, she has won 1 draw, but that is success for the Cardinals today. Shutt and Palumbo pop it straight up.
And they both violated there. So the possession arrow in favor of the Cardinals will give them the ball.
And the Cardinals will certainly take that as they look to get their 5th goal of the day. Tangney still responsible for 75% of the Cardinals' goals. DeLeo finds Riley. Gibbons putting a lot of pressure on her fellow number 20. Out to Cummings. DeLeo with the X. Precinct finds almost goal there for Dibble, but just past her stick.
And they're getting a crease violation on Cummings.
Good opportunity there for the Cardinals, but just a little bit far for Dibble, and it's going to be, looks like a foul there on, would be DeLeo.
Kind of surprised there's a foul there. There's not a green card.
Here's Joyce. Heavy pressure from Precinct. And the Jumbo is still clear effortlessly as Shut finds Zorn. Sorry, Carden. Here's Zorn. Here's Emma Joyce. Cardinals remaining in this woman-on-woman defense. Shut with some space here.
Shocked the shooting space call.
Draws 3 Cardinals as the Jumbos continue to rotate around.
Down to 20 on the shot clock.
Here's Lesperance. 10 to shoot. Jumbos got to get something here. Delaney goes in. Tries to find Zorn. Pops down. And it'll be Cardinals recovering it. Bit of chaos there. But the Cardinals able to come away with it and get it back to Weintraub.
Jumbos wanted an infraction on the Cardinals there for dumping the ball into the crease. Didn't get it.
And the Cardinals will clear here with Diomede.
They would have, except I believe the Jumbos are going to go woman down first.
Conahan going to step off for a green card.
Courtney Shute asking for an explanation for the dump off at the crease. And the referee telling Courtney Shute, yeah, I know you're right, but I don't want to hear it.
Yep. They will look into it and take a look, but
That's an all-time great line from a referee.
sometimes it happens. Sometimes the call is incorrect, but it's too far back to take it back, certainly, as the Cardinals will have the ball, look to possess here. They've got about 45 seconds of woman up. Can they capitalize? Precinct gets it to DeLeo. Tangney. Dibble. Green sends it across. There's Dibble. Ball on the ground. And Delaney scoops it up. Jumbos look to escape the woman down.
Kind of shocked that Wesleyan isn't getting a woman sent to the bench here, as Delaney got a good amount of contact.
Certainly a lot of contact there, but the Cardinals will not have a woman sent off. But Conahan will check back in right about now as the Jumbos successfully navigate a perilous situation.
In the third quarter, when they did that, they were able to score in about 20 seconds later. Can they do the same here in the fourth?
Zorn finds Joyce. Back to Zorn. Cutting in is Lesperance, and she gets it. Top of the net.
Well, it is deja vu day.
Yeah, that's about 30 seconds, but still, a very quick response from the Jumbos to coming back from a win down. Lesperance will take it herself. She cuts in and puts it away. I believe for her second goal today.
That is a second for Ella Lesperance, who I think the most surprising stat of the day. Jumbos have 13 goals. Ella Lesperance without an assist.
That is shocking. Lesperance from the X, a playmaker for this Jumbo side, led the NESCAC in assists last year and has also been really a player who creates things for the Jumbos, but sometimes she'll just create something for herself, like she just did there, unassisted goal.
And that really has been the story for the day. 13 goals for the Jumbos. Only 3 have been assisted. The rest have been individual created.
And going back to the draw circle, Gibbons is back, and she'll be facing off against Palumbo. Shut had a successful stint in there, but Gibbons returns and wins it herself, almost still bouncing around, but it will fall to Gibbons. Immediately finds Delaney. The Jumbos look to attack quickly.
They got numbers.
Zorn tries to draw the shooting space, but unable to as the Cardinals settle into their defensive formation here. primarily running a woman-on-woman defense. We have seen them in the zone at points today as well, though. Delaney sends it to Zorn.
I think she wants a fifth.
Certainly a player who's no stranger to recording large amounts of goals. The Jumbo's goal leader on the season. 32 so far this year.
And a shooting space opportunity coming here for Elsa Schutt, who will have an opportunity to send us to a running clock.
Schutt will not be able to repay the favor to Zorn, who Schutt got her goal off of the bounce off the helmet of Weintraub. Zorn too far away to really capitalize on that this time. Goes low, but Weintraub is there. Bounces out, but Delaney recovers.
If I'm Izzy Weintraub, I got to be really frustrated with my defense right now.
Yeah, Weintraub certainly showed a good showing of herself today, but it's going to be a stoppage here.
I think there's a clock issue potentially. They did reset the clock. One of two things needs to happen. They either need to go back to the old shot clock, or they need to decide that Wesleyan did have what is considered a possession, and then the shot clock would be reset to 90.
It
Can't be a 60.
It did look like the ball was in the stick of a Wesleyan defender when Delaney hit it out, so I won't be shocked if they do set it to that 90. But referees conversing here, try to figure out the best course of action. We will find out in a second. Coach Shute very much calling for that 90 seconds.
It's going to go back to 55.
They're going to say it was not a lacrosse move conducted by the Wesleyan players, which I do agree with. She really had it in her stick for about half a second before it was knocked out by Madeline Delaney. So not real possession for the Cardinals. Shot clock will be at 55.
Very good call there from the referees as we
Here
resume
comes-
play.
50 to work with the Jumbos. Conahan draws a shooting space.
This is an interesting one because not a great angle, but Conahan loves to shoot from this spot.
It's really bread and butter for Caroline Conahan here. But won't be shocked if she looks to pass because, as you mentioned, very tight angle. She does pass. Goes to Zorn. Spins. Forced out there by, wow, heavy pressure. But Joyce
Are you kidding me, Emma Joyce?
breaks through several players, gets herself into space. Looked like she was tripped, but still kept running and puts it away.
Jake, she was tripped. She was shoved. She was pushed. She might have slipped on the wet turf, but in the end, she put the ball in the back of the net, and the clock is a running here in Medford.
And that's what you expect from a player of the caliber Emma Joyce has. Two-time All-American, type of player who can really just do a lot of damage to a team and really nimble as well. And we saw that agility there as she broke through. Looked like several different attempts to take her down, but she keeps going and converts her second of the day.
We'll give you a quick update from Waterville. Colby now up 10-0 as they start the fourth quarter there. So the Jumbos do have an opportunity, if things go their way, in Waterville to be the only unbeaten team left in the NESCAC come Monday morning.
And we had the same discussion last week as the Cardinals were up on the Panthers out in Middletown, but they were unable to convert. This time, could the Mules knock off the reigning two-time national champions? We'll see. We'll continue to give you updates on that throughout the rest of the game.
Zorn with an all-out ride.
Very aggressive as they are forced to go back to Weintraub. But she distributes nicely, finding Preesing. Sorry, that is Tangney now. And she'll do it herself.
It really has been the day there for Kira Tangney.
DeLeo now. Two players on her. Spins away. Still DeLeo. Finally tries to pass to Riley, but it will go past her teammate. Though scooped up by Simon there.
Jumbo's defense putting on a clinic today.
Riley with a little space, but quickly closed down by Delaney. The X is Preesing. Chance here for the Cardinals, but will fall out of DeLeo's stick. Here comes Dibble. Through 2 players, she'll spin and she'll draw the foul.
I'm sorry. Yeah, she gets the foul. That's a tough call. If you're spinning into 2 players who are moving, yeah, it's foul. But in my mind, if you spin into 2 stationary players, you should not be getting the call.
Dibble will have the free position from about halfway. Looks like almost, never mind, very tight angle there on the left side. They're going to stop real quick here.
Clock shouldn't be stopped.
Maybe a player jumped. I think as the referees consult, the clock should be stopped as they figure out what happened. And
No, but I think the bigger problem is that the clock has been stopped since they blew the whistle the first time.
that would be the issue then. 13 seconds on the shot clock for the Cardinals. Not much time if they do not convert here. The referee gonna come speak to the clock officials.
Shot clock will be reset to 20 here. I have no idea.
It's possible the shot clock kept running a little bit after the foul was called. Uncertain what the call was here. But nonetheless, it will be a free position for Dibble. She goes low, bounces over the goal. The Cardinals do recover it with 15 seconds. Tangney tries to get her 4th. Picked up by the Cardinals. 10 seconds to shoot. Back to Tangney. Intercepted by Fernanda Poli. Ball still bouncing around, and Fernanda Poli emerges the victor. And the Jumbos look to clear. Shutt does it herself. As the Jumbo's second midfield does come on. Conahan beats her player. Quickly finds Lesperance. Hammond now. Lloyd. Zorn shocked to not receive the shooting space call, but scooped up by Johnson. But back ball bouncing around all over the place, still on the ground. Finally scooped up by the Cardinals.
It's Molly Simon for Wesleyan with that ground ball.
An impressive one at that in a really contested situation. Cardinals look to clear now with Maddie Shoemaker. Her first appearance of the game. Horst. Riley heavily pressured here. She beats Cromwell. Falls down to Gibbons. And that will be a foul.
It will.
Donlin looks clear. Outpaces Cervini. And a perfect pass there to Netta Leschly.
Jumbos look like they're having a little bit of target practice out there in the midfield.
And Jumbos will slow it down here in the settled set. Already up 10, content to let the clock tick down a little bit. But this Jumbos team never content to let the game sit, always looking to add more to their tally. Hammond.
What's the whistle? Can be a 15-meter?
Interesting. Lesperance. And then Jumbos will reset. Carden finds Lloyd in the middle. A lot of contact, but she'll send it wide to the right.
Jumbos have 15 to shoot.
Here's Lesperance. Jukes one comes in. Unable to convert. 9 seconds, 60 now, as the shot clock will reset.
Yeah, good save there from Weintraub. Saw it pretty cleanly and denied Lesperance's second.
Here's Lloyd. Conahan. Lesperance coming in this time. Again,
What a
Weintraub denies
save.
her. Weintraub certainly doing her part today for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Weintraub has 12 saves. She has not been the problem for Wesleyan.
Jumbo's ride so aggressive. But the Cardinals will escape with Shoemaker, and it's going to be a foul.
No, it's actually going to be a timeout called there by Kim Williams, and a really good one.
A great call by the Wesleyan coach, who's really revolutionized this Wesleyan program, wouldn't you say, Riley?
She has. It's been a different program since she came in 2016. Every year since 2017, they've had a winning record, making both the NCAA tournament and the NESCAC tournament, with the one exception being that 2020 season where they were 4-0 before everything got shut down. But this season is a little bit different for Kim Williams' squad, as it looks like they're about to fall to 2-4 in NESCAC play and lose 3 straight for the first time since her debut season in 2016.
Yeah, certainly not the look that the Cardinals are hoping to have. But in this NESCAC conference, it's really any team can knock off a strong team. And the Cardinals are facing a lot of very, very powerful opponents.
Yeah, they have played the 5 highest ranking teams other than themselves in the NESCAC already after today, so they will have a pretty easier run in. I can't say easy because there's no such thing as an easy game in the NESCAC, but looking at the remainder of their schedule, they have a non-conference game at MIT tomorrow, then they're at Trinity at the midweek, at Hamilton next weekend, and finish with back-to-back home games against Bowdoin and Conn College. None of those games will be easy, but they're all winnable games for this Wesleyan team.
Certainly none of them are the caliber of opponents that they have faced in the last 3 matchups, as the Jumbos have already played that MIT side. We saw them last week, midweek, where the Jumbos recorded a very dominant victory, and the Cardinals will certainly fancy their chances in that one. Looking at the rest of the season for the Jumbos, there's one matchup on the calendar that stands out pretty much every year. This will be April 12th up in Middlebury, Vermont, as the number 2 Jumbos will take on currently ranked number 1 Panthers, who are currently tied 10-10 in Waterville, 4th quarter.
Well, I can tell you something, Jake. I don't know which of the 2 teams is going to be number 1, but they will be 1 and 2 in some order when they play next week.
Yeah, even if the Middlebury Panthers fall today, the Mules would not expect them to drop further than 2.
Fernanda Poli continues to do great defensive work.
Tangney back to Dibble. And cut out by Emma Joyce. And she looks to break with pace. Joyce still going. Zorn. And they'll slow it back down again. Zorn hacked from behind by Johnson. And that will be
I think a card's coming.
Johnson leads the team in fouls so far this season. And not surprised, she does play a very aggressive defense.
We're going to see which color this is. It's green. So it will not lead to a locking in for a Cardinal.
So it'll actually be on Tangney there.
Courtney Shute not happy about it. She thought it was a dangerous challenge.
And worth noting that 4th yellow would be an unreleasable penalty for the Cardinals. So that would be even worse as 2 minutes remain in this game. Jumbos hope to capitalize on this win up and get themselves up to their average victory of 11 goals.
Not only that, a 50th goal would tie the most ever given up there by Weintraub, which incidentally was scored by the Jumbos in this matchup a year ago.
Lesperance at the X. Tries to find Joyce. It's a little far. But Cromwell there to force it back for her shut. Here's Joyce again. Zorn.
Ten left on the woman up.
Delaney back to Joyce. And the woman up is over. Jumbo's unable to convert, and they pass it straight to Molly Simon as the Cardinals look to clear. They will not, though. Maybe they will. Ball still on the ground. Still on the ground, and Summers will be the one to collect it.
We'll see what the Jumbos do now because the shot clock is turned off. Whistle goes. And I think Courtney Shue called the timeout.
Fair enough. A lot of pressure on her defense there. As this game really far from close at this point. Running clock, 45 seconds left in this fourth quarter. Riley, what's going on in Waterville?
Well, in Waterville, not a lot's been going on in that fourth quarter. 7 minutes left in that game. We're still at 10 apiece. I can tell you what's going on in Middletown, and that is there's not much being played defensively because it's all offense. 11-10 Jumbos with 50 seconds to go in the first half.
Cardinals certainly keeping it closer there in Middletown than they are here in Medford. As really a really massive matchup between both the men's teams and the women's teams today. And the women's one far from close, but the men's certainly one to keep an eye on.
Jumbo's bench dancing, having a grand old time as they look set to move to 11-0 for the first time since 2019.
Jumbo's bench certainly earned the hype they are having as they have had a great day today and a great season so far. Here comes Delaney. And she'll have to clear it herself. And she will. Weintraub far out of her goal at the moment.
11-woman rod here for the Cardinals. They want to try and get the ball back. They know the Jumbos, in all likelihood, probably won't look to score.
Yeah, very aggressive defense from the Cardinals. That the Jumbo's content to just run around and try to hold the ball. Shot will cut in. She got a great look here. And she scores!
She's not content. The Jumbos get 15. They tie the record for the most goals ever scored against Izzy Weintraub. And that will be your ball game here in Medford. The final goal scored as the final whistle hits.
Elsa Shutt records the goal as the Jumbos storm the field, defeating the number 6 team in the country, the Wesleyan Cardinals, in a dominant fashion. 15-4 is your final score. Jumbos only conceding 4 goals to this Cardinals team. And I think what really comes down to is that draw circle. Cardinals winning 2 draws the entire game.
Yeah, when you go 2 for 23 from the draw circle, you could have a bunch of Olympians on your lacrosse team, and you'd probably still lose the game because 2 for 23 just ain't going to cut it in the NESCAC.
Certainly not. And a lot of the credit has to go to that draw team from the Jumbos. Jenna Gibbons, Elsa Shutt, Madeline Delaney. The 3 of them were phenomenal today.
They were great today. Those 3 in the middle. And I think they've been great all year. This is Jumbo's team up now above 65% on the draw for the year. And so we really just don't know what the ceiling is for this Jumbo's team. And I know they'll be the first to tell you they can't overlook Wednesday against Bates in Lewiston, but everyone in the D3 world has their eyes on that matchup in 168 hours?
My brain's, it's a weekend, right? I'm not doing that quick math. Something like that. But will certainly be an intense matchup. And Bates still no slacker on their own rights. But Riley, can you give us one last update on what's going on in Waterville?
Yeah, I can tell you nothing's going on in Waterville. 5 to play there between the Mules and the Panthers, all even. Well, we're going to step aside momentarily. We'll be back in a couple minutes with an audio-only post-game interview. And maybe when we're there, we'll tell you what's happened in Waterville if we have a final. But until then, don't go anywhere.
I don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. know. You're so hypnotic, magical.
Welcome back here to Bellow Field. Riley Daniel here in an audio-only interview with Caroline Conahan. Caroline, congrats on the win. What did it feel like? You guys had struggled against Wesleyan in the past couple of years, but today just felt different.
It felt really good. I mean, our goal going into this game was just to play our game and focus on us and focus on each individual moment and not get ahead of ourselves, and I think that's exactly what we did.
All right, let's go to an individual moment. I want to talk about that play you made. Not one of the goals, because those were impressive, but those we've seen you do. The one I want to talk about is the play that will probably not be mentioned ever again. The one where after you guys turn the ball over on the crease violation, you immediately jump on the goalie on the ride, force the turnover, and it leads to a goal. What inspires plays like those in a game where you guys are up by 10?
Well, I actually do remember Coach telling me to go over to the goalie, so we were trying something out, and it ended up being successful. It was a momentum play, and we definitely needed that.
Speaking of momentum, it was so big in terms of momentum, the way you guys dominated 21 of 23 from the draw circle. What is it about this draw circle team that just locks down some of the top teams in the country week in, week out?
They just focus on each individual rep at a time. They don't get ahead of themselves. They don't think about past reps. They only focus on that one rep and focus on getting their body to the ball, not on the other team.
Last question before I let you go celebrate. You got the honor today of wearing Maddie Nickpon's number 2. What does that feel like?
I mean, it's a huge honor. She was such a special person, the best teammate you'll ever have. So I think our goal going into today was to channel her energy, her joy, and her passion for the game, and that's exactly what we did.
Could not have said it better myself. Congrats, Caroline.
Thank you.
All right. And that has been the day today here on Bellow Field. Dominant victory for the Jumbos. Riley, can we get one final update from Waterville?
Yeah, 12-11 in favor of the Panthers with just under 3 minutes to play, as Colby is a woman up right now. Well, if you want to watch that, you can turn to NSN. But one thing we can tell you is that we're not done for the weekend. We'll be 2 places tomorrow. We got 2 doubleheaders for you. Baseball at 12 on Saul Gittleman. And, baseball at 1 on Saul Gittleman. I did not read the schedule careful enough. And softball, which I believe is at 12, out on Spicer.
Nope. Softball, I believe, is also at 1. Riley, you've had plenty of time in charge of the schedule. It's my turn now, and it is 1 o'clock, not 12, but it will be...
Jake, I'm doing this new thing where I live in Central Time.
Interesting. I've never heard of that strategy before. Let me know how that works out for you with getting to your classes on time. Alongside that, though, it has been quite the day here on Bellow Field as the Jumbos dispatched the number 16 of the country, Wesleyan, 15-4. Dominant performance for the Jumbos. And that will be it for me, Jake Flossie, joining me, Riley Daniel on the mic, Sophia Kahn, our director, and Jason Strait freezing up, working the camera for us today. Stay home safely.